All right, so welcome back to Webinar Wednesdays, and today we're going to be talking about the 7 top tools you need to find paid speaking gigs. Now, I think last week we talked about how to find really great, amazing speaking engagement opportunities. But a lot of you followed up and said like, hey, like what tools am I using? What platforms am I using to get these gigs? And in my entire career of 10 years, there's some that I use profoundly in earlier years, there's some that I use more now. Depending on which member of my team you talk to, they will tell you which tools that actually really gets the word out there regarding my profile and the work that I do. And I'm here to share with you in the entire journey of my speaker career, of all the speaking engagements that I've done. These are the tools that's been extremely instrumental to not only giving me paid speaking engagements, but also career opportunities, offers, partnerships through my public speaking engagements. And so without further ado, let's dive right into this conversation. So I know many of you, if you're trying to kick off your speaker career, like I have 10 years ago, many of you are probably tired or struggling to find paid gigs and managing bookings effectively. This session, we're going to unveil the 7 top tools that I personally have used and that I hope that you could tap into as well, so that we can unlock new opportunities for success in your speaker journey today. All right. And for many of you, if this is your first time finding me on the internet, my name is Christine Tim. I'm a serial entrepreneur, personal brand influencer, tech ecosystem builder. I'm also a mother and wife, and literally my entire career have not only been centered around tech, entrepreneurship, really building my personal brand while building my entrepreneurial journey. I literally in my entire career worked for a couple organizations within a time frame of 2 to 5 years, and over the past decade, I've been working for myself as an entrepreneur across my multiple businesses and multiple initiatives, and I haven't looked back since, right? And one instrumental part of my career journey is public speaking, which is why I always share with people when it comes to building and scaling and even monetizing your personal brand. One of the great avenues of opportunity is public speaking opportunities, right? And so with that said, welcome to my world and welcome to my ecosystem. And I'm hoping that, you go beyond these webinar sessions and really plug in and learn where you can to really accelerate your journey. And so today, one of the biggest things that we could talk about, especially in a world that's really run by technology now, is the tech tools I use, the platforms I go to, the websites that I leverage along the entire journey, and the ones I still use to this very day with me and my team. And so I'm going to go over that with you today. Now, obviously, my journey into the speaker circuit, I have tons of videos where I share thought leadership and just really vulnerable highs and lows of my speaker journey over the past 10 years, lessons learned, things I wish I've done, things that I'm happy that I did along the journey. And this webinar series, along the multitudes of content that I push out every Wednesday in personal branding, technology, entrepreneurship, productivity, project management, and lifestyle, public speaking is a key part of the series of topics that I talk about tremendously, because I do believe that one of the most strategic decisions you can make in your career is becoming a public speaker at some point within your career profession, right? And so my journey into the speaker circuit started actually by accident. So it's interesting that I'm helping people get into the speaker circuit on purpose, right? Versus the accidental entry that I got in. But literally it started with me just literally quitting my job at corporate, taking the leap of faith, relocating to Dubai in the Middle East, and launching my first company. And my first company went really well, got high success, and my speaker career kicked off the success of that first company, because many of you know, I know tech is going through a crazy industry revolution right now. But at the time, everyone wanted to be a tech entrepreneur. Everyone wanted to get into the tech ecosystem. And not only was I an entrepreneur building and scaling a company, I also was an ecosystem leader helping emerging market communities in Haiti, Ghana, and other parts of the world also build tech ecosystems. So my career in the speaker circuit kicked off tremendously as that content became a hunger for a lot of organizers, institutional players around the world. So obviously got to meet a lot of powerful influencers, was featured in a lot of different media outlets. And I share with people, just because I was everywhere doesn't mean that it was, nice and gravy. There's a lot of things that I learned along the way that I share through sessions like this, so that way you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did back in the day. But I did a lot, and today my speaker calendar is definitely more manageable and more profitable. And that's the goal, right? You don't want to burn out like I did and do a bunch of engagements and you're not really, hitting the goals and metrics. And just like from a personal level, the personal aspirations you have by leveraging public speaking to get to that end goal, right? And so today, as I look back and take a step back and think about, okay, I do this on a regular basis. I speak at conferences many times a year in multiple different countries. I mean, I travel often, right? Before I used to travel like literally multiple times a week. Now I'm able to really scale back because as a mother and a wife, it's not my choice anymore to want to do the most, right? With building my profile. Now, as I look upon the tools that really helped us really succeed in finding engagements and booking engagements and monetizing engagements, these are the tools that I want to share with you. And so obviously, just to set your intentions, you got to also know, why do you want to be a public speaker, right? Because that intention will help shape how you engage, not only with these tools, but also the opportunities that will come your way once you manifest and put yourself and make yourself more visible to event organizers. I genuinely do believe that when you make yourself more visible as a thought leader and as a public speaker, people will reach out, people will engage, and how you receive those opportunities will make or break your success in the long run, right? So many of you are probably here because you want more speaking engagements. You want to be a full-time speaker. You want to get clients. You want to elevate the sales and progress of your company. I know that worked tremendously for every one of my companies. Me being able to speak at so many different events really accelerated the growth of my companies. And I tell people that's my secret, right? The authority and credibility that I create on the stage follows me off stage as well. So definitely really great outlet for opportunities, brand partnerships, obviously recognition. You get featured in a lot of different platforms for being a thought leader and influencer in your industry. But for me, it's like I get to see visually the impact that I'm making in people's lives. As a serial entrepreneur, I build a lot of companies and a lot of initiatives where a lot of times when you're selling a product or you're selling a service, you don't see the emotional reaction and experience that your customers and your clients and your stakeholders are having with your products and services. With speaking, I can see and experience and feel how I'm moving the room. And I share this a lot in my previous webinars, that there's no other feeling to know that you have shifted and fundamentally transformed someone's thinking, someone's perspective, even someone's lives through the power of your word that you have exhibited and shared through the power of your story and your journey, right? So I don't want to go too in depth into that, because there's definitely more content on my platform to share with you what that journey looks like. But I do want to make sure that we set the right intentions for today's conversation regarding the tools that you're going to use. So I'm going to start right into it. And the first tool that's probably the most obvious one, since I'm live on this platform right now, and I have been a huge advocate for this platform, is LinkedIn. Okay. LinkedIn by far has been one of the greatest enablers of opportunity for me in my career in terms of getting these other speaking engagements, client media features, awards, partnerships, just reaching new audiences. And out of all the social media platforms I have, I definitely do not play with my LinkedIn. And I tell people it's like my free billboard on the internet. Like, it's literally the power of one page that gets me these opportunities organically. And so for those of you who have not optimized your LinkedIn for success, definitely check the link below where I have a link to my webinar session on how to optimize and leverage LinkedIn for opportunities. Okay. So how do I actually use this platform to get speaking engagements? First and foremost, I do have my team DMing event planners and event organizers. It does work because immediately they're able to look at my profile, see what I'm doing, see me go live, and get to know my personality by way of the engagement that I already have on LinkedIn. The second thing is I do use LinkedIn groups, but specific LinkedIn groups that I have some type of affinity with. So that when I post on a group, it doesn't feel spammy. It feels very authentic and organic. So really target LinkedIn groups that fit your identity, your background, your expertise. So that when you post on it, it's not hard to engage because you already know the content organically. Okay. The other thing that we do as well is like we search for the call for speaker posts on LinkedIn. There are tons of event planners who are constantly looking for speakers, and those do really, really well. I also search for the event planners and I add them through my repertoire. So that way, many of you, if you are marketers, you know that people sometimes need to see or engage with something at least 7 times before they build trust with that brand or that influencer or that product, right? It's the same thing with having an event planner see your content on a regular basis on social. So I actually, find event planners and conferences that I want to speak at and DM them. And the last thing is what I'm doing right now is I host live virtual programs like this one, because when someone goes on my LinkedIn profile, they can literally see all the live events I've done and kind of not only see the content and thought leadership that I'm putting out, but also my cadence, my style, my swag, how I communicate, how I, provide value, and see if that content and that packaging, so to say, and product, the topic of my talk, is something that their audience will need. So those are the ways that I leverage LinkedIn to get paid speaking engagements. The second tool, and this is going to really wow you, is Yesware. Now, many of you probably know about CRM tools to really build and grow an audience. So, the MailChimps, the HubSpots, so on and so forth in terms of building and scaling your email biz. But what I like about Yesware is really all about really creating, I would say, a manageable way of really engaging with people through your inbox, right? And for those of you who don't know how to leverage this and feel like you're on a budget, you don't want to have to pay for anything, they do have a 14-day trial for you to see the magic of this platform organically. And I use this all the time where I'll find every month I make a list of event organizers that I want to engage with, and I use Yesware to reach out to them, create a campaign. Sometimes like we do this like 4 or 5 times a year, where we make a spreadsheet of all the event organizers we want to work with or engage with for me to speak at. We do a Yesware campaign blast directly from my inbox, so they're able to see my signature. And as they respond, the ones who haven't opened the email, responded to email, they're able to get another touch point organically. And that way I'm able to even track and manage my engagement with event organizers in the ecosystem, right? So the ones who respond, we continue the conversation. The ones who didn't, it sends an automatic follow-up message in sequence to those individuals to see how we could get them to really close and book me for an engagement. It's a phenomenal tool. It's something that I've been using over the past couple of years. And I started using it by making a warm list of people that I already knew in my network, just to see how the platform works before doing that to pretty much cold outreach to people who don't know me, right? And then of course, usually what I do, and this is another trick, because people are so used to people like blast spamming them, I don't want to be that person and hurt my reputation. Once I send an outreach, I wait a couple of days before we follow up and do another automation, and I customize it. Where I'll follow up with a personal message, especially to the ones who've opened and engaged, and say, hey, I just saw your post on LinkedIn, really cool things that you're doing here. I wanted to follow up. Like, is there any way we can engage regarding your upcoming event? That way, I'm literally, let's say I send it out to 1,000 event planners and like 150 respond. I am manually with the team sending messages organically, manually to 150 people, where it's customized based on any recent activity that they've done, any recent information I can find regarding the program or event. So that way they don't feel like, oh, this is just a automated funnel outreach. This is real organic engagement that I'm doing live with that person. So it's really, really, really a phenomenal tool for that, and it keeps you organized. Okay. The third group, and the third tool that I use is Facebook. Now, don't tell me that this is obvious, because it's how you leverage Facebook. I don't use Facebook essentially to just post about me trying to find speaking engagements. I leverage Facebook groups, okay? And how I leverage Facebook groups, I do DM event organizers there. It's more personal, it's less formal. But the real trick that I use on Facebook is that I join multiple groups, especially groups that fit the criteria of speaking engagements that I'm looking for. And sometimes I get really narrow, like, event organizers looking for female speakers, tech speakers, entrepreneur speakers. So that way, like when I, respond to call for speaker applications, if I fit the information that, is required of the proposal. And one thing that I would say is, this is something that is going to be, because it's organic, it's not a one size fit all. You're going to have to experiment with this process for a minimum, I would say 30 days to 45 days for you to find the right collective group of groups that really work for you, not only to find speaking engagements, but eventually for you to post content and engage with people so that when people want to DM you and work with you organic. That's really all about building your personal brand and building your profile. And so I would say, like, for every one great group that you join that really works for you in this strategy, you probably had to sift through 7 other groups. And I'm saying this because it's very tedious, but it is by far the most effective, organic. I can't even begin to describe how organically fire this strategy is. In my personal branding accelerated program, I talk in depth about leveraging platforms like this for marketing, and searching for opportunities. This one, it's really, you got to try it. Really, really powerful too. Highly suggest that you tap into this resource. So Facebook groups, love it, love it, love it. You could tell, like, definitely tap into it. The fourth tool that I use is Eventbrite. Now, I've been using Eventbrite for literally damn near 8+ years, 9 even. Like I probably was, on Eventbrite before people knew Eventbrite existed. Like I was really leveraging Eventbrite. Early in the days, I used to host paid webinar sessions. Now you can't charge for webinars, but back in the day, I used to charge $10, $20 for an event webinar. And from there, I really built familiarity with the platform. And I still, to this day, we still use this Eventbrite. And how do we use it to find paid gigs? We actually reach out directly to event organizers because they're already hosting events on the platform. They're looking for speakers. We just DM them organically. And it's been a really great way because a lot of times they are still looking for speakers, and we target events that are 3 to 6 months out because they're usually in the space where they already know their budget to be able to pay for engagements. Okay. We also host virtual sessions on Eventbrite. So we post the flyers for Eventbrite there, and then host live sessions so we get more opportunities in that way. And that 2-part process, DM and event organizing, also hosting events and publishing the event on Eventbrite, also attracts a lot of opportunity for us. So it's been a really, really great tool that to this day I still use, and highly suggest that at the very least, build an organic process and a system to DM event organizers on a regular basis throughout the month. So for us, we actually do this like every week. We reach out to at least 500 event organizers. Yes, I did say 500, but 500 event organizers on the platform, DMing them. And I will tell you that we target certain cities where I want to speak in. So whether it's Atlanta, DC, Cali, New York, Boston, I'm not just blanket cold calling random event organizers. I'm targeting the ones that probably have the budget to pay me, have the profile to pay me, but also have the city and VIM to be able to accommodate for my profile where I'm at, right? And so it's really, really a great strategy to leverage. The next one, this one I know is going to like really rock your world. It's not something that's really typical, but again, I've built a lot of unique tricks and strategies over the past 10 years. And this is one that I'm giving you a secret that a lot of people don't know how to leverage, but event booking spaces. So elite corporate events, and I'm only targeting corporate events, not regular events, because corporate organizers usually have the budget to pay for speakers. So platforms like Splacer or Convene, I've built a relationship with some of the event venue spaces, and I partner with them. So how I do this is because they're in the business of selling their venues, they're not in the business of doing you favors. Okay, so I actually have a referral fee relationship with them. So if they have an event organizer in the corporate space that is looking for speakers when they host their events with them, and I say, hey, we will give you 10%. And it might be high, but that's, a booking engagement that I wouldn't have gotten if they didn't refer it out over. So let's say they refer over a corporate client. This has happened before, who wants to pay $5,000 for a 45-minute session. Right? They would get like about 10% to 20% of that. So they'll get paid $1,000 from that, right? As a referral fee. Again, a high premium, but it opens up a new wave paid speaking engagements just by working with the event organizers that are hosting the events, right? And sometimes, and this is really good when you get into a really great relationship with the event space organizers, is that sometimes, let's say you didn't get a referral, sometimes say like, hey, can you give me access or introduce me to the event organizer so I can come? And that way I could build a rapport and relationship with the corporate facilitator of the event. And boom, I have it in to be able to get paid speaking engagements. This is literally a very unique approach, and it takes a little bit of buffer time for you to get in the throes of it to build those relationships, but within 3 to 6 months you will start to see traction for sure with this process. Okay, and the second to last one that I use is gig sites, and this is something that usually speakers who are looking for gigs, they really target bureaus or databases, but this one, Upwork by far is my favorite out of all of them. But here's how I use it. So I definitely respond to any posts where they're looking for trainers, experts, or speakers on certain topics. So I respond to them. But one thing I also do is I also post a job so I get booked. Now, because the opportunities, people are looking for cheap alternatives on these platforms. So I only do booking engagements for virtual gig opportunities. So that way I'm not leaving the comfort of my home. So I could charge $1,000, $500, 2,000. The most I've charged is probably around 3,000 to 4,000 for a gig that I literally did in 30 minutes or 45 minutes less from the comfort of my home, purely through a platform like the gig economy, like Fiverr, Upwork, or freelancers. So really unique way to go about it. Find opportunities on the platform and also create your own opportunities by posting an offer on the platform. Okay. And the last one I will share with you for today is corporate training sites. There is a corporate revolution that's going on right now where a lot of corporates are revolutionizing how they train their employees for success. And one of the solutions that's been presented to the market is corporate training sites like competitors like Electives, who are really good at really creating access to experts and influencers and speakers from around the world. And I'm one of those speakers on the platform. So how I use a platform like this one is obviously post a profile information about topics. So one of the ones I have here is public speaking fundamentals, and they in their corporate database have people book us internally through this platform. And so I'm able to literally speak virtually and get paid in the thousands of figures for doing that. And this is something that, by the way, look for competitors and look for multiple corporate training sites. I would say that a healthy number is like the more you could get on your books, the better. So when I first got started, I was purely just doing through this site, and then I started opening up my windows to other platforms that are being launched, which actually promote my profile when I'm new to the platform. And now I have literally close to 8 or 9 platforms that we're using on rotation, and gives a really great steady stream of virtual paid speaking engagements on autopilot at this point. And you just go live and you provide your value. And I've even have a couple engagements turn into contract opportunities for multi-year contracts with these corporate partners. So really, really, really great platform there. And obviously, as you get these speaking engagements, I can't stress enough creating momentum and posting photos and videos of you speaking at these engagements, whether they're in person or virtual. So that way you create not only a pipeline of opportunities with these 7 tools that I just shared with you, but you're creating momentum. And when you're in momentum, you get features. And when you get features, people talk about you. And when you get people talking about you, you get referrals. And then that momentum becomes an organic thread, and you just take to the sky. Right. So hopefully this was really helpful for you. I know it's something that for me, I wish someone shared with me in the past, because when I kicked off my speaker career, I was doing a lot of things manually. I was doing things, through word of mouth, through referrals. Now there are so many different tech tools to help you succeed in this speaker landscape. So definitely leverage the top 7 tools I shared with you today. Keep pushing, keep putting your thought leadership out there. People see you, people hear you, and pretty soon people will be working with you in phenomenal ways, in ways that you didn't even know was even possible. Okay. So manifest it, put it out there. You're going to get it. You're going to grow, and you're going to be so grateful that you really took the time to leverage not only these tools, but these strategies, because a tool is only as good as how you use it. This is the reason why for each one of the tools I share with you, I told you, I show you, and I really walk you through exactly how I use it. If you want more resources, obviously I have an entire channel dedicated to personal branding and entrepreneurship, how to really help women monetize their careers online, right? But if you want more handhold and more support, feel free to join me at the Speaker Career Launch Accelerator program. I host it several times a year, so it's definitely a phenomenal opportunity for me to walk you through in depth, not only how to use these tools, but really how to build and scale out your speaker career. And of course, DM me and comment speaker on the chat if you want access to the show notes for this session, so you could be able to apply it and really put it into your repertoire of action items for this week and beyond. So thank you so much. Always a pleasure and an honor to work with all of you. Feel free to also ask questions in the comments. I'm definitely going to answer them immediately, right? On the chat session. And if you love what you hear here, like and subscribe and follow, and definitely keep me posted. Let me know and comment what other topics you want me to discuss. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.